You stand at the crossroads of your own existence, feeling the weight of wasted minutes, missed opportunities, and silent dreams slipping through your grasp like sand. Somewhere deep inside, a voice whispers, "Is this really all there is?" In the roar of modern life, with its endless distractions, relentless schedules, and social media sirens, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. But according to Carl Gustav Jung, one of the greatest explorers of the unconscious, the real tragedy is not that we die, but that we never truly live. His secret? Life's greatest waste isn't in failure or death, but in failing to individuate, failing to become the person you were meant to be. The modern malaise. Every morning, we rise to an alarm's harsh beep, gulp down coffee with half-closed eyes, and rush into obligations that feel like prisons, the job that barely pays, the social rituals that drain us, the endless scrolling through, curated lives that remind us of our own lack. We numb ourselves with binge-watching, snacking, and superficial chatter, convinced that distraction equals comfort. But beneath the surface, a deeper discomfort gnaws, a sense that our life is slipping by, that our dreams are being spent on petty dramas and trivial pursuits. Jung called this psychic stagnation. Without conscious intention, we remain anchored in collective norms, picking careers because they're practical, relationships because they're expected, beliefs because they're fashionable. We blend in, become faceless reflections of the culture around us, and lose contact with the unique individuality buried beneath layers of conditioning. 2. Individuation, becoming who you truly are. For Jung, the antidote to psychic stagnation is individuation, the lifelong process of differentiation from the collective, of discovering and integrating the forces that make you uniquely you. This isn't self-improvement in the superficial sense. It isn't building a nicer resume or posting a better selfie. It's a radical excavation of the psyche, unearthing buried potentials, repressed shadow aspects, and the guiding archetypes that pulse at the center of your being. Imagine your psyche as a vast, unexplored wilderness. On the surface are your persona, the mask you show the world, and the ego, the conscious I you identify with. But beneath lie tangled forests of memories, buried desires, ancestral patterns, and the shadow, the repressed parts of yourself you refuse to acknowledge. Deeper still flows the self, the organizing principle that seeks wholeness and integration. Individuation means forging a relationship with all these levels, acknowledging your persona and then gently dissolving its rigid boundaries, confronting your shadow, your hidden fears, unacceptable desires, weaknesses, and reclaiming their energy as creativity and vitality, embracing your anima animus, your inner feminine or masculine qualities, to balance your psyche and deepen empathy, aligning with yourself, the crucible where opposites unite and genuine purpose emerges. 3. The shadow's gift. Many of us fear the shadow, those dark corners of the soul where shame, anger, and taboo impulses lurk. We project the shadow onto others. They're the problem, we say, blaming culture, politics, or personal relationships. But each projection reveals a disowned part of our own psyche. Every judge you meet in the world is a mirror reflecting something in you that needs recognition. To stop wasting your life, you must face your shadow squarely. Journal your intrusive thoughts. Notice moments of unconscious rage or envy. Dialogue with your darker impulses. What do you want from me? Often you'll find that your shadow simply longs for acknowledgement, creativity, or freedom you've denied yourself. By integrating these energies, you reclaim vital life force, creativity, and authenticity. 4. The call of the archetypes. Beyond the shadow lies the realm of archetypes, primordial patterns that shape human experience. The hero beckons you toward courage and self-sacrifice. The wise old man or woman offers guidance and insight. The trickster urges playful rebellion, reminding you not to take life too seriously. Each archetype carries both light and dark aspects. The hero can become a martyr, the trickster a saboteur. Your task is not to worship any single archetype, but to recognize their dance within you. When you commit to a meaningful goal, a creative project, a challenging relationship, a spiritual discipline, you're answering the hero's call. When you sense the trickster stirring, notice where your life needs more flexibility or humor. Let the archetypes guide you, but remain the conscious conductor, weaving their energies into a harmonious whole. V. Dreams. Messages from the Beyond. Jung famously said that dreams are the direct natural expression of the current picture of the unconscious. In the silent theater of sleep, symbols arise that speak in mythic language. A dream of swimming upstream might signal resistance to change. A snake shedding its skin could herald personal transformation, but too often we dismiss dreams as nonsense or random firing of neurons. If you want to stop wasting your life, cultivate a dream practice. Keep a journal by your bed. Note even the foggiest images. Over time, patterns emerge, recurring motifs, persistent symbols, shifts in emotional tone. Don't analyze with rigid intellectual frameworks. Instead, dialogue with your dreams. Ask, what do you show me? What energy do you bring? As you let unconscious messages illuminate your blind spots, your path unfolds with greater clarity and purpose. Sex, symbols, and active imagination. Symbols are the currency of the unconscious. A tree may mean growth, a labyrinth, a journey to the center. When you encounter a potent symbol through art, literature, or personal vision, lean in. Use active imagination. Enter the image as if stepping onto a stage. Converse with the figures you encounter. What do they say? How do they feel? This inner exploration transforms abstract ideas into living experience. 7. Embracing the tension of opposites. Life's richness emerges from polarity. Light and dark, masculine and feminine, self and other. Jung called the self the synthesis of these opposites. Yet in daily life we crave certainty, stability, and comfort. So we avoid conflicts and deny paradox. We want life to be either or rather than both and. To waste your life is to remain stuck in false dichotomies. Success versus failure, joy versus sorrow, spirit versus flesh. Individuation invites you to dwell in tension, to let contradictions catalyze growth. Only when you embrace your vulnerability and strength, your light and shadow, do you step into the full spectrum of human experience. 8. Finding your personal myth. Every culture has myths, stories of heroes, gods, and creation. Individuation asks you to discover your own mythic narrative. What metaphor captures your journey? Are you an orphan seeking belonging, a warrior fighting for justice, a healer drawn to mend broken hearts? This narrative need not be grandiose. It simply frames your values, challenges, and aspirations in symbolic form. Once you clarify your myth, align your life accordingly. Choose relationships, work, and practices that enact your story. If you see yourself as a gardener of souls, perhaps you devote yourself to teaching or counseling. If you're a seeker of hidden truths, you might dive into research or spiritual practice. Your myth becomes a compass guiding you away from wasted detours. 9. Actions that matter. Ideas alone won't stop you from wasting your life. You need concrete actions. Daily reflection. 10 minutes each morning to journal your intentions. Weekly solitude. A few hours in nature or silent retreat to listen to your inner voice. Shadow work. Acknowledging one repressed emotion or desire each week. Symbolic ritual. Lighting a candle or performing a small ceremony to mark transitions. Creative expression. Painting, writing, dancing, whatever lets unconscious content flow into form. X. The courage to be yourself. Perhaps the greatest waste of life is living someone else's dream. We pursue credentials, wealth, or status because society applauds them, even if they leave our hearts hollow. Jung implored us, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. This demands courage, the willingness to disappoint others, to risk failure, to stand alone at times. But in doing so, you claim your birthright. The grandeur of individuation often feels remote when juxtaposed with everyday drudgery. Yet Jung insisted that the path to wholeness is walked in ordinary moments, in the mundane routines where the self quietly beckons. Purpose isn't a distant summit reached once and for all. It is woven into each choice, each interaction, each breath we take. To live purposefully is to infuse the banal with meaning. Start by noticing the moments that stir a subtle spark, a fleeting sense of satisfaction when you organize your workspace, a sudden rush of warmth as you help a colleague solve a problem, the quiet joy of a shared smile. These micro-experiences are signposts of your deeper values and potentials. Rather than raging against the routine, see each task as an opportunity to align with your mythic narrative. Washing dishes becomes an act of service, answering emails an exercise in stewardship, commuting a chance for reflection. By consciously linking small actions to conscious intention, you transform tedium into ritual. Jung wrote that ritual enacts the psyche's needs when words fall short. Light a candle before you begin work, recite a short intention, may my efforts serve truth and beauty, or simply pause for 3 mindful breaths. These simple acts draw the self into daily life, shading ordinary deeds with sacred purpose. So too, cultivating meaningful relationships. Individuation is not a solo quest in an ivory tower, it unfolds in relationship. Each person you encounter reflects a facet of your psyche, offering mirrors in which you see your growth areas and potentials. But too often we cling to relationships that reinforce our masks. The charming friend who always flatters us, the safe partner who never challenges us. These liaisons keep us stuck in limited personas. Instead, seek relationships that invite authenticity. Find friends who encourage you to speak your truth, partners who mirror both your light and your shadow, mentors mentors who guide you beyond complacency. When conflict arises, and it will, you're given a chance to integrate shadow projections, to notice when you're blaming someone else for a wound that really belongs to your own unprocessed hurt. Practice active listening and honest self-expression. When someone triggers a strong emotion, pause and ask, what in me is alive in this moment? By owning your reactions, you reclaim power and grow intimacy. Over time, your relationships become crucibles of transformation, revealing hidden motives and catalyzing deeper connections. 13.3. Work as calling, not just career. Jung believed that work should be more than a paycheck. It should be an expression of the self's purpose. Many chase prestige, salary, or security, only to find their days hollow, their evenings restless. The remedy isn't to quit your job on impulse, but to realign your daily tasks with your inner calling. Begin by mapping your skills, passions, and needs. What tasks make you lose track of time? When have you felt most alive at work? Which activities feel rote and lifeless? Look for ways to delegate or minimize the latter, and negotiate more space for the former. Even in a restrictive corporate role, you can carve out a niche, propose a new project aligned with your interests, volunteer to mentor junior colleagues, or pioneer a wellness initiative that integrates your values. If you're in the position to change careers, do so mindfully. Conduct informational interviews, test the waters with side projects, and honor the practical realities of money and responsibility. Jung warned against chasing fantasies, but he also celebrated the courage to leap when the psyche clamors for authenticity. Let your career become an expression of the self, an arena in which you enact your myth, or tour. The spiritual dimension for Jung, individuation inherently involves a spiritual journey, whether or not you identify with a religious tradition. The numinous, those encounters with awe, mystery, and transcendence, awakens the self and reminds you of something greater than the ego's petty pursuits. Yet modern life often strips us of sacred context, reducing spirituality to abstract philosophies or occasional retreats. Reclaim the spiritual dimension by cultivating practices that open you to mystery. This could be formal, meditation, prayer, chanting, or informal, an evening walk beneath the stars, a daily gratitude ritual, or immersion in sacred art. When you approach life as a sacrament, each moment becomes charged with significance. Mundane chores become acts of devotion. Pain becomes a portal to deeper compassion. Pay attention to synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that defy causal explanation. Jung viewed these as messages from the self or the collective unconscious guiding you toward growth. Record them in a synchronicity journal and reflect on the patterns that emerge. Over time, you may discern a hidden choreography weaving through your life, guiding you toward your destiny. 15. Legacy and the transcendent. Ultimately, individuation transcends the boundaries of your personal story and taps into the collective. Carl Jung believed that when individuals achieve wholeness, they contribute to the psychic health of the whole. Your journey, your discoveries, your triumphs overshadow your creative expressions becomes part of the living tapestry of human consciousness. Consider your legacy not in terms of fame or wealth, but in the seeds you plant, the inspirations you impart, the kindness you spread, the beauty you birth into the world. Write letters to your future self or your descendants. Create art, cultivate gardens, teach what you've learned. Recognize that every act of authenticity radiates outward, touching unseen lives. As you age, the ego's grip loosens and the self's wisdom deepens. Jung called this the second half of life, when you shift from achieving and acquiring to contributing and transcending. Embrace this season by sharing your insights, mentoring younger souls, and engaging in projects that outlast your lifetime. A community initiative, an environmental restoration, a spiritual lineage. Practical steps for the transcendent journey legacy. Projects. Identify one project that will outlive you. Writing a memoir, planting trees, establishing a scholarship. Mentorship. Offer your time to guide someone following a path you once walked. Your mistakes and lessons become treasures for them. Creative offering. Commit to one creative act per month. Poem, painting, photograph that expresses a piece of your inner world. Community engagement. Join or start a group aligned with your values. Philosophy club, environmental collective, interfaith dialogue. End-of-life reflection. Regularly visualize your funeral and what you'd want people to say about you. Let this clarify how you live now. Integrating all you've learned. True transformation isn't a series of checklists, but a continuously unfolding process. As you cultivate awareness, shadow work, archetypal dialogue, dream practice, and purposeful action, these elements interweave into a living tapestry. Sometimes you'll surge forward, other times you'll circle back, revisiting old wounds or insights with fresh eyes. This non-linear dance is exactly how the self self guides you through growth, integration, crisis, and emergence. Remember, individuation is not about perfection but wholeness. It's the art of becoming more fully who you already are, embracing every aspect from the wounded child to the enlightened elder. It's a heroic journey without a final destination, for the self's depths are infinite. Each day you wake, you answer the call to return to your center, to reclaim your life from distraction and fear, and to embody the vibrant aliveness that Jung celebrates. In these additional reflections and practices, you have the tools to deepen your journey. Keep returning to the questions: who am I? What do I carry unacknowledged within? How can my life serve the unfolding mystery? In the unfolding of these answers, you will stop wasting your life and begin truly living it.